Let's talk box office, Johnny.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's talk about it because I knew the F1 would do well. I don't know if I knew it would do this well.
Jesus.
It did pretty damn well.
Yeah.
So far for the whole weekend, 55 million domestic, but the international, look at that number, 144.
Wow.
Starting out on week one. That to me shows make a good movie, get good buzz, have people saying your movie's fun in an old school blockbuster, and they will come see it. That's another big win for Warner Brothers here. They're about to have 2 in a row, or I mean more than 2 in a row. They're having a good year. This is a good year for Warner Brothers so far. It really is.
Yeah,
it's a really good year. And at 144 for that one. It's a big one. How to Train Your Dragon putting in another 19.4.
Yeah,
454 million worldwide for that one. Elio trying to stay alive with 10 million. Unfortunately, it doesn't even crack 100 worldwide, 72. So even though it's trying to make a little bit of money, still going to be a pretty big loss for Pixar. M3gan, this is the story to me. This is the big story, minus F1, obviously. But M3gan 2.0, which was the M3gan, the first one was a pretty big hit.
Yeah.
Domestic.
Yeah.
10 million.
Yeah.
For this one. Internationally, not even 7, with 17 million. John, maybe when as I'm looking, so you can look up the budget for this one and see if it's going to be anything, how much of a either hurt or surprisingly potentially a profit they still could make. But 17 worldwide on this sequel, not the best. And then 28 years later, putting in another 10 million. So that ups it to 103 million. Go ahead, John. What was the budget?
It's falling though. I mean, 20 years. This is a really interesting. Like, I think the story is M3gan. I agree with you, and of course F1. But like 28 years later is something that people need to be talking about because it is sinking like a stone now since the first weekend. And this does not bode well for the trilogy overall. If the financials are not that strong for this movie. So we will see what it ends up with, and then we'll see how that affects the release of the second film and then the potential third film. We will see. But the M3gan situation, the box office is 17.2 million. Oh, sorry, the budget was 15 to 25. So the box office being around 17 worldwide total so far. They probably will make or break even maybe with this movie, but it is a colossal failure. And I think the interesting stuff you talk about, Kristian, when you talk about influencers, this was a thing that was driven off influencers. So, and I saw influencers trying to push this film.
M3gan?
Oh yeah, M3gan 2.0 all over social media, and because M3gan was such a big social influencer campaign, I think the timing was the situation here, man. You're going up against F1, you got Jurassic World around the corner, Superman, Fantastic Four. This one just got lost in the mix. They should have released it earlier in the year, and I think Elio's. I finally saw that last week. Such a beautiful film. Loved it. Loved it. It should have done way better than it's doing, but when you're going up against How to Train Your Dragon and you're going up against Lilo and Stitch, it just got buried. So both of these would have benefited from being moved out of their slots, their release slots,
It was. And the thing again with Apple makes a movie for $250 million, whatever it is. I think that's what F1 is. And it's already gonna make 200. It's contrary to some people, they're saying it's not gonna make its money back. It is. It's going to make its money back, and it's also going to do is the fact that like I said with Apple's a different beast. If Apple comes close to just making its budget back, it's a win. For them, 100%. It really is. But otherwise, they're gonna make a profit on that movie because this is a word of mouth movie. This is a movie that people are still going back to. More and more people. My dad called me, but that's usually how a barometer of my dad's calling me, and the first thing he asked me is like, "So, did you see that Brad Pitt movie, the F1 movie? Is it good? Is it good?" It's the first thing he asked me. So, and then my friend at the gym was like, "Oh, the other one I want to ask you about was F1. Any good? Any good?" And I was like, "So people keep asking me about F1, and every single person I've talked to so far that has seen it, fun movie, great blockbuster, good time at the theater. I haven't heard one bad thing about it." All right, I know that you guys know Viagra. I know you know Cialis, and you probably even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond just the usual pill, you gotta meet RUGIET Ready. There are other companies that rely on similar ingredients to support the blood flow, but RUGIET Ready is the next-gen prescription treatment designed to help amplify the arousal in the brain and increase the blood flow. So if the usual pills aren't doing the trick, RUGIET Ready could be the answer. It's essentially 3-in-1 formula, dissolves right under your tongue to absorb fast, so you'll be ready in just 15 minutes on average, not hours, and it affects up to 36 hours. That means you can stay confident, you can stay present, and in control when the moment's right. If you want proof, over 150,000 men have made the switch, and you can read their customer reviews right on the site. Now, getting started, that's simple. RUGIET connects you with the board-certified doctor 100% online, and if prescribed, your treatment ships to you quickly right to your door. So connect with a provider at rugiet.com/Christian to see if a RUGIET-ready prescription is ready for you. Connect with the provider at rugiet.com/Christian to see if a RUGIET-ready prescription is right for you. You can use that code Christian to get 15% off today. That is RUGIET, RUGIET.com/Christian. Use that promo code Christian, get 15% off today. Head to rugiet.com/Christian and use that code Christian. Get 15% off today. Use the code to support the show, and so RUGIET knows that we sent you. Individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. Please visit the RUGIET website for full safety information.
No, I mean, there are holes to poke in the storylines. There are things you can criticize it for, which we did in our review over the weekend with Geek Buddies. Like, I think the Damson Idris plot line fades at the end, near the end of the second half of the movie, which bothered me a little bit. I would have liked more with him and his world and his mom and more of that stuff explored a little bit. But it's a Brad Pitt movie, and they clearly show you that in the second half of the movie. Does the relationship happen really fast, and is it organic or not? Yeah, you can make criticisms, but there's an overall energy to this that is fantastic, and you just love being in the theater. Like I said, it's an old school blockbuster. You have a lot of fun with it. Top Gun Maverick was a much more emotional and soulful film.
A little more layered.
A little more layered, right. And I think this one doesn't get too bogged down in that and focuses much more on his story. And my friend texted me the other day. He's like, this is a Western. You know that. He's a gunslinger coming in, saving the company, teaching the young bucks some new things, falling in love with a woman, or having a relationship with a woman.
Teach you how to shoot those cans, kid.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
And then he rolls out of town to go help someone else. And so I was like, wow, I hadn't seen it in that context. It's like opened the film even more for me. So yeah, dude, a really fun film.
Someone brought this up in the chat on Friday, I think it was, about they have to make a Days of Thunder F1 collaboration movie, like Brad Pitt and both Sonny and Cole doing a movie together.
Krasinski said that. The director of F1
actually said it.
He was in an interview. He said, I would love to cross over these two franchises.
Oh my God.
And that what's his face? Hayes, whatever, Sonny Hayes, him and Cole have some old beef from when they were young.
Yeah.
And since they're working on a Days of Thunder sequel,
combine it. Let's do shared universe there. Tom Cruise needs a new franchise. Mission Impossible, clearly no one cares anymore.
It's done. Yeah.
No one cares anymore. It's over.
At least for those prices, $400 million. It's done.
Right. It's over. For that kind of money. So and then if Apple if I'm Apple and they go, listen, we want to do Days of Thunder and F1, F2. Yeah. And that's like, should we? Yeah, sure. How much you need? We need $8 billion. That's it? Sure, take it. We'll sell some new, I was gonna say swatches. I'll tell you where I am.
I gotta pay for a wedding, but after that, I'll fund the damn movie. I got no problem.
Are you getting married?
No, I'm saying Bezos, because he just got married. I was saying I got to fund this wedding and then I'll pay for the movie.
Okay.
Bezos helping out what's his face at Apple. I forget who's in charge of Apple. But what do you think of the M3gan thing? What's your thoughts on the M3gan thing? Because you've been doing this for quite some time, Christian, and you've seen some of these films pop up and then not do as well. What do you think sank this sequel to a degree in the box office?
I think that the first one hit at the right time, as you were saying. It was, what did you find out what the budget was of that one? M3gan 2? The
first M3gan 2 is as I said, 15 to 25.
15 to 25?
Yeah. It wasn't, that's what it's listed on Wikipedia. So
so right now it's made what? It's made 17?
17, right.
All right. So it's possible it'll at least get M3gan's money back.
The first one was only 12 and it made 181.
Right. Well, I mean, that was right. You're talking massive hit as opposed to at least we didn't take a huge loss, which is not what you want on a sequel. You want the opposite, right?
You want to be more.
Yeah. I think that it's like, I don't know if anybody's clamoring for a M3gan 2. I think what it was because Look, I saw the movie, the first
Yeah.
one, and I didn't
Yeah.
like it when I initially saw it. It should
Oh,
be
really?
it should be the answer for me of what's a movie you went back and saw another time and
Oh,
then wind up liking it. It would be Megan. I saw it twice. We actually just put the reaction up for Megan with myself and Tina, and I knew as soon as I saw the box office numbers, though, John,
yeah.
I was like, no one's going to watch this
I
reaction.
know. That's why I didn't put my review up. I was like, no
It,
one's going to watch it. What's the point?
the reaction ate a big pile of garbage, and
Yeah.
Tina and I had a really good reaction to it. It was a lot of fun. She had never seen it before. It just ate dog shit because no one cares about the franchise. No one cares about the characters much. It's like, yeah, it's a fun movie, but I'm like, I don't care enough to see what these people thought of Megan because it was like, oh yeah, that movie. There's a sequel too, and you nailed it. You said it. There's just too much out there. I don't think it's necessarily. I don't think that it's necessarily like Lilo and Stitch or any of the Elio or any of those types of movies, or even the one that F1. I don't think F1 tears into it all. What I do think is if I always use Wicked Art as an example here. You and me, we go and see movies all the time because we have to. It's our job. We get press screenings, we're able to do it. When you're budgeting out and you have a family and there's a certain amount of movies that you like, he's got a list and he says, okay, this is the ones that we're going to see. It's summer. Here's maybe we'll add a couple. Right. Maybe we'll, if we look and some of the people, that we respect and we pay attention to, and they say, hey, you should check this one out. Maybe we'll call an audible and we'll go check out a new one. Megan was not on his list. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not it, and it's pricey. And it's that, and like, oh, I got AMC pass and all that stuff. Yeah, but still, even that, it's like it's time, it's other things.
Yeah.
So I just don't think that people were clamoring for it.
I think they were trying to hit this market of like 15 to 25-year-olds, like hit that market, or maybe even 12 to 25-year-olds, hit that mark that maybe isn't serviced fully by other stuff that's out there right now, and they thought they could slide in and kind of grab that market. But man, clearly they miscalculated big time on this one. Plus, it's 20 minutes longer than the first one. It's not written by Keela Cooper, who wrote the first one, which is what made it unique. And then even I saw some horror film critics who I follow, and their comments were, there's not even horror in this movie. It's a Terminator 2 film all over again, which is what the trailers pitched, by the way. So you can't fault the company for lying to people. But clearly people enjoy the horror aspect of the first film. And then they made Allison Williams be front and center with the AI in her. And no one's going to see this movie for Allison Williams, for God's sake. So to me, I think they made the mistake by not leaning into her more, into the Megan more, giving her center stage more, making her the focus. The kid and Allison are just kind of, in my opinion, not that big of a deal to that franchise. I think if they had focused on her and her journey, like Megan's journey through this, and then this other Megan shows up to counter her and stop her, and there's horror around that Megan, I think that would have been a much more interesting film than what we seem to have gotten here.
Well, that's another thing. I can't speak on it because I didn't see it. The screening was literally the same time of F1, and I chose F1. I chose F1 at the same time because I had missed the F1 screening prior. I wasn't going to miss it again, and I wasn't going to miss it for Megan. I mean, maybe that also shows, where I was thinking. I was like, I just think that this movie, to me, A, what I want to see. Right. B, I think more people are going to care about what I'm talking about with F1 than they do if I did Megan. Totally. I didn't even know if I want to do I almost was going to save it for a reaction to watch with Tina, but I don't know if I'm going to do that. I don't know if anybody cares.
I don't. I might not even do it out of theater. I was going to see it today or tomorrow, but I don't know. We'll see.
But jumping back real quick to what you said about 28 years later, right? Because 28 years later, didn't it cost like $60 million to make?
I thought it was in the 75 to 80 range, but
we kept saying that. People kept telling us that we were wrong, and it was 60. Because if it was only 60 and it made 103 million so far.
Wikipedia says 60.
Okay.
But 103 is still not a massive hit. And
it's enough. If you're going to get to at least 150, you'll get to a 150. You don't think so?
I don't know. With Superman and Jurassic World and Fantastic Four coming out, please. If it makes $1 billion a week, I'll be shocked.
Maybe you're right. Right. You might be right because 10 million. So 10 million this week. This was the last kind of chunk they can make. But even I still think that if you're Danny Boyle though, and you make your money back or get close to it, they're going to give them a second movie to try.
Well, I think they've already shot most of the second movie. I think so. It is going to come out. My question is about the third.
Third one.
If the second film comes out as middling, then the third film becomes.
And the third one's not going to have Danny Boyle directing.
No. Oh, well, no, the third one will. The second one will.
That's what I meant. That's
So
what I meant.
Nia DaCosta, unfortunately, may take another bath here.
And she's got all the weight on her shoulder.
Yeah, she's got the Marvels stink
Yeah,
still on her, which I don't blame her for. I blame the studio for that. And then so now she's got to take this on, and she, you know, she did Candyman, which a lot of people had those feelings about.
I didn't see that.
I think she's kind of snake bit a little bit in the situation.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough one. All right, guys, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the box office. Thoughts? Comment in the comment section. Comment on the live chat. Comment on the replay. Comment on the channel that we have just for clips.